Okay, we are wrapping up our 6 a.m. hour, but we still have 3 more hours on CW18.
Sheldon Dutez and Sonica Donge joining us now, following all the breaking news of that bridge collapse out of Baltimore, Maryland. Guys, just unbelievable video.
I mean, it's jaw-dropping video this morning, and we do know that search and rescue efforts are ongoing at this hour. We're going to stay on top of any new information.
And we know that they have recovered at least 2 people at this point, but the search continues for about 7 people. They have detected that cars were submerged under the water there. An awful, tragic situation that's unfolding right now in the downtown Baltimore area and surrounding suburbs.
Especially now as the sun comes up, we're getting much better pictures of what is actually happening. Just for some context here, this is part of the Beltway. So you can imagine this morning as everybody is waking up and trying to head to work, if this is part of their morning commute, the Francis Scott Key Bridge, they will now have to go around the entire city of Baltimore in the Inner Harbor to get to their destination. So it's going to cause some massive travel headaches, not just for this morning, obviously, but for weeks, days, possibly
even
months to come.
Yeah. Something we're going to be staying on top of all morning long because new updates are coming in every so often.
Yeah, join us this morning on CW18.
Local, live, late breaking. WESH 2 News Sunrise on CW18 starts now.
This morning, a bridge collapsed, sending people and cars plunging into the water. The rescue mission happening right now in Baltimore.
Plus, a change in how schools let parents know when their child misses class. The new alerts parents will get in Osceola County.
And the Supreme Court could limit access to a commonly used abortion pill. Why this could have far-reaching consequences for reproductive rights and other medication. It is 7 o'clock on this Tuesday. Thank you so much for staying with us here on CW18. I'm Sheldon Dutez.
And I'm Sonica Donge. We'll get a check on your forecast in just a moment, but it does look like we are watching something out on the roads this morning.
Yeah, major crash if you're heading out the door in Sumter County. This is in Bush now, so I-75 northbound heading towards the Turnpike. Big delays. Kellyanne, been a very busy morning on the roads. How's our forecast today?
Things are pretty quiet, which is nice to hear. And then later on this afternoon will actually be warmer than what we had yesterday. So if you don't mind yesterday's forecast, you will love today's forecast. Out the door right now, very comfortable for our coastline, where we're at 70 degrees in Daytona Beach, New Smyrna Beach, and 71 in Melbourne. But in Orlando, we're at 66 and even cooler in the Villages at 61 degrees. Overall, though, especially for our central and northwest locations, we are warmer than this time yesterday by about 3 to 5 degrees. That is all thanks to a southeasterly wind around 10 miles per hour, pumping in that warm air. Clear conditions here in Lake County and a beautiful sunrise, but over along our coast, still because of that somewhat onshore component of the wind, we're still waking up to some cloud cover. So it's overcast in Daytona Beach. Much of Central Florida today, we'll see plenty of sun, temperatures warming up into the 80s, and then we track rain. We'll talk much more about that coming up in a few minutes. First, though, let's get back to Megan with a check on the roads.
Ellen, good morning. As I mentioned, that crash I'm monitoring is along I-75 in Sumter County. Looking at those northbound lanes, I've been monitoring this all morning. This is heading towards County Road 476. So keep in mind there's going to be some stop and go traffic traveling from there until you get to about the Turnpike. So heading that way in Sumter County, expect those slowdowns. Some of those tow trucks, though, have started to arrive. Also, I'm keeping my eye on the crash in St. Cloud along Narcoossee Road. This is at Jones Road, impacting those southbound travelers heading along Narcoossee. So expect delays here. I'll be keeping my eye on these crashes, and we'll check in with those travel times in a few minutes.
All right, Megan, we are staying on top of breaking news this morning from Baltimore, where a major bridge collapsed into the water.
Crews are searching for at least 7 people believed to have fallen in the river, the Patapsco River there. We have WESH 2's Jason Guy in studio with us. And Jason, the video is just jaw-dropping when this bridge was hit by the ship.
Yeah, it's devastating to witness. And you see right there, it just disappears, and it goes from a bridge standing there, just falls like a child's toy. Or Sonica, you described it as apparently toothpicks going down. Local agencies began getting 911 calls. It was around 1:40 this morning after that Singapore-flagged container ship, the Dolly, rammed into the bridge. This is the Francis Scott Key Bridge there in Baltimore. The ship was bound for Sri Lanka, officials say, and reportedly hit one of the supports. Now, there were several vehicles, authorities say, on that bridge at the time of the collapse, including one the size of a tractor-trailer truck when it collapsed. So far, 2 people, authorities say, were pulled out of the water. One had to go to the hospital with serious injuries. The other person is expected to be okay and didn't want any treatment. Now, officials say they're still searching for at least 7 people right now, but they caution that number could grow.
This is a very large incident. It involves a very large footprint. Multiple agencies are operating, therefore information is subject to change as we get more intel and as our crews work through the morning.
And we want to take you live to Baltimore. The sun is just coming up and the search is continuing. You are also seeing that container ship there as it is just sitting in the water right there where it hit that bridge. And the effort for search and rescue operations are very intense. And at this point, we are still waiting for authorities to tell us how many people are still unaccounted for at this moment. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg put out a statement offering help from the U.S. Department of Transportation as officials in Baltimore vow to look into the condition of the bridge before its collapse. And a reminder here, officials say no casualties at this point have been confirmed. That's of this hour. And we are monitoring any and all updates this morning. We're going to bring you the latest information as we get it. Sheldon?
Right, this is in two residential neighborhoods, connecting two residential neighborhoods that then connect to the Beltway. So many people travel that area. Something we'll definitely keep an eye on, Jason. All right, it is 7:05 and there's a nationwide search that's happening right now for 3 girls who've been reported missing from North Carolina who may be here in Central Florida. We've got their pictures pulled up for you right now so you can see what they look like. It has been more than a week since anyone has seen these 3 little girls. 2-year-old Jacqueline and her younger sister Justice and 6-year-old Summer Merslin may be with their mom Alexis Baker. Police say that they were traveling in a silver 2018 Honda Civic with a Texas license plate RFP 9721. If you recognize those little girls or their mom, or you'd recognize that license plate, please call Orlando Police.
This week, parents in Osceola County are getting new alerts letting them know if their child is absent from school.
WESH 2's Tony Atkins is live at the school district. And Tony, these news alerts are starting to go out early.
Yeah, Sheldon, this is in effect right now, and this new policy means that alert calls, they'll continue to go out in the afternoons like they have been, but under this new policy starting this week, these calls, these attendance calls, they're going to go out in the morning. The district had already set up a portal for parents to go inside and check if their kids are in attendance at school, and we do have a link to that portal on our website, WESH.com. I'm live in Osceola County this morning. Tony Atkins at WESH 2 News.
All right, Tony, thank you. Over to Lake County now, and the school board was set to vote on the recommended termination of an elementary school principal last night. That did not happen. Earlier this month, the school district recommended the termination of Triangle Elementary principal Debbie Hartog. The district said the recommendation came after they investigated a complaint made against Hartog by a parent. While the district hasn't said what the allegations were, a parent identified themselves to WESH 2 as the person who filed the complaint and accused Hartog of using a racial slur. The parent alleges it happened after her son and another student got in an argument on the bus and a racial slur was used. The parent claims Hartog then used the racial slur in discussing the incident with her son, asking him how he would feel if someone called him that. The recommendation for termination isn't final until the school board votes on it. But the district told WESH 2 Hartog requested an administrative hearing to consider disputed issues of fact, and the school board is referring the matter to the Division of Administrative Hearings for assignment of a hearing officer. The district says once that hearing is finished, the officer will give a recommendation that will then be considered by the school board.
Orange County leaders will decide today if the county will end up paying a big bill for the One Pulse Foundation. That money would pay off the taxes that the foundation owns on the building.
WESH 2's Bob Hazen is joining us in studio this morning. And Bob, that building was supposed to become a museum honoring the 49 victims of the 2016 attack.
Yeah, and those plans never came to be. The foundation is broke and dissolving, so Orange County leaders say they need to pay that bill that's more than $50,000. Now, leaders still haven't decided what to do with that old warehouse once the county does own it. The mayor says it's likely they'll end up tearing that building down. Sheldon, back to you.
Florida's scholarship program is seeing some new changes.
Yeah, and it will help more students get set for their future. How the Bright Future Scholarship Program is evolving to help young Floridians.
Plus, many people have been priced out of the housing market. The push to cut housing costs and keep the American dream alive.
All right, if you're just joining us, we are staying on top of a big breaking news story out of Baltimore, Maryland, where this bridge collapsed overnight about 1:30 this morning. That container ship that you see there hit one of the pylons and sent every section of that bridge tumbling into the water, including cars that were driving on this heavily trafficked bridge in the Baltimore area. This is near the Inner Harbor, if you're familiar with Baltimore, a very popular neighborhood for people to pass through on a regular basis. We do know that 2 people have been rescued so far from the water. One of them refused treatment. The other one went to the hospital in critical condition. Officials are still looking for the other drivers who were in those cars that plunged into the water. They have sonar detection that has found multiple vehicles submerged under the water. They are working to find those people this morning. This is a big story that we're staying on all morning long, and we'll have updates for you throughout the day. All right, it is 7:16, and there's about 2 months left until the start of hurricane season. Meteorologists and weather experts from all over the country are in Orlando this week for the National Hurricane Conference.
This is at the Rosen Center, and it's helping put together plans ahead of the next big storm. Yesterday, meteorologist Marquise Mita explored how model building codes, retrofitting programs, and a culture of disaster resilience are creating a ripple effect, positively impacting the health of the insurance marketplace. And when disaster does strike, it is important to look at the local level for guidance on when to safely evacuate to ensure the best shot at success. Our first warning weather team will be at the National Hurricane Conference, and we're going to have live coverage for you all week over on WESH 2 at noon, 4, and 5. Looking for guidance at the local level is so important. We always are so grateful for the number of hours you guys put in during hurricane season.
Well, and all the local emergency managers as well. And I know a lot of these emergency managers are at the hurricane conference this week. On top of that, we are working on a hurricane special currently. And I can say that me personally, I will be talking to a couple of our coastal emergency managers in our special to talk much more about evacuations and things like that. So that's just one of many things to look forward to our hurricane special, which will come closer to the start of hurricane season on June 1st. Thankfully, we're not even close to that yet. So.
Yeah, and things are calm right now.
Things are so calm right now. So let's soak it all in while we can, right? Outside right now, it's very comfortable with beautiful bright sunshine in Ocala. A couple of clouds, but if you go to our coastline, we are looking at a little bit more cloud cover, all thanks to a southeasterly wind, which is also allowing our temperatures to hover in the 70s. We are at 70 degrees in Daytona Beach and New Smyrna Beach, 71 in Melbourne, 66 in Orlando, 65 in Leesburg, and 62 degrees in Ocala and the Villages. Our winds right now are directly out of the southeast, around 10 miles per hour, but later on today they'll pick up around 10 to 15 miles per hour. That's going to usher in warmer air. So temperatures inland today reach the middle 80s, whereas our coastal locations just slightly cooler into the upper 70s and low 80s. Now, everyone today is going to be dealing with dry conditions, and our inland spots will feature abundant sunshine. Just like yesterday for our coast, we will have a little bit more cloud cover, but we'll still have some peaks of sunshine despite some of that cloud cover. And then we track changes starting tomorrow as our next cold front works across central Florida through about 8 o'clock. And then going into the early morning hours on Thursday, that's when that cold front swings in, bringing in showers and thunderstorms up to a 50% coverage. Friday, plenty of sunshine, highs in the middle 70s, low 80s on Saturday with morning temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Megan, good morning.
Good morning, Kellyanne. I'm keeping my eye on a couple crashes right now. This one here is I-4 westbound approaching the Turnpike exit. You can see here this off in that median area between the exit and those regular lanes on I-4. So traffic slowing down here. A faster route is going to be the hop on those express lanes if you need to get on the Turnpike this morning from I-4 westbound. Also in Sumter County, I've been keeping my eye on this major crash. This is in Bushnell, traveling northbound towards County Road 476. You can see here traffic in that left lane. So we're in the peak travel hours of the morning. Expect that traveling in Sumter County approaching the Turnpike. I-4, those travel times mostly in the green, heading out the door westbound from Altamont Springs to Florida's Turnpike. Some delays at 17 minutes. Eastbound, we're at 15 minutes. Sonica.
Megan, thank you. Winter Park leaders are working to make roads safer. Tonight, they'll be talking about traffic deaths and road safety. This plan is a critical step in identifying projects and funding for future transportation improvements throughout the city. It is all a part of the Vision Zero action plan. The meeting starts at 5:30 at the Winter Park City Hall Commission chambers. Well, parents can swing by the Oviedo Police Department tomorrow to make sure their child's car seat is installed the right way. 4 out of 5 car seats are not used correctly, and the type of car seat needed will depend on the child's age, size, and needs. So it's a great resource. The group Safe Kids Orange County will be there to help you out for free from 3 to 5 p.m. You could just never be too safe.
Not at all. All right, there is a push in Washington to make owning a home a goal that more people can reach.
President Biden's plan to lower housing costs comes at a time when housing prices are high and continue to rise.
Jen Sullivan looks at the proposal and whether it will help in this current housing market.
Here's a look at what is coming up tonight on CW18. There are new episodes of Crime Nation diving into the disappearance of Gabby Petito. That is at 8 o'clock this evening. And then, of course, tune in to the evening's top headlines on WESH 2 News at 10 o'clock.
Local, live, late breaking. This is a WESH 2 News update.
Good morning. I'm Sana Kadange. It is 7:26, and the Osceola County School District is changing how it notifies parents when their kids don't show up to school. For high school, calls will start going out at 9 a.m. after teachers take attendance in first period, and then again in the afternoon at 3:45 for the other class periods. In elementary school, attendance calls will start going out at 10, and then at 11, calls will go out for middle schools and K-8 campuses. That new policy is now in effect. The Marion County School Board is voting today on a year-round calendar for next year. This would only affect Wyomina Park Elementary. Students would still have to go to school for 180 days, and they still get about 12 weeks of vacation. It would just be spread out across the full year. A Brevard County school just approved a similar calendar. This is all part of a pilot program by the state. Over to the roads now, dealing with some backups there on I-75, Megan.
Yes, Annika, this is in Sumter County, traveling on the northbound side of I-75. Approaching County Road 476, you can see here everything but the left lane is blocked off here this morning. So a bad crash from earlier happened before 5 o'clock this morning, and you can see crews are still working to clear it. It does involve a semi-trailer, which is why it is taking some time. So expect delays in that area. Also along I-4, this is westbound approaching the Turnpike exit. This is if you're heading towards those attractions. Kellyanne, if you are traveling to the theme parks today, how's our forecast?
Out the door right now, not too bad. Temperatures into the 60s and 70s. And later on today, we are going to warm up into the 80s inland. Now, inland locations this afternoon will have mostly sunny conditions, but for our coastline, we'll have a little bit more cloud cover than our inland spots. This will also be a little bit cooler for our coastline with temperatures into the upper 70s, low 80s. Inland locations expected to reach the middle 80s. If you are heading to the beach today, we have a high risk of rip currents and rough surf, so just keep that in mind. Otherwise, we stay dry. A 20% chance of rain tomorrow, scattered thunderstorms Thursday.
One man found a way to board a plane without having his own ticket. What he did to fool gate agents into letting him onto a flight.
Local, live, late breaking. WESH 2 News Sunrise on CW18 starts now.
Good morning. Thanks for staying with us here at 7:32. I'm Sana Kadange.
And I'm Sheldon Dutez. We are off to another pleasant start this morning. We've seen some beautiful sunrises every time we take a live look outside. And we're getting warmer, so we can put the AC back on.
It's one of those sunrises that does look like it's going to be a warm day. No clouds in the sky. I mean, it's just bright and beaming out there, Kellyanne.
Why not also take the boat out? If you have the day off today in Lake County, get an early start. We have clear conditions. This is a really beautiful start to our day. But for other locations, we are waking up to clouds, and that's more in I-95 locations and our beach locations. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, it's cool outside with a temperature of 62 in Ocala and the Villages. 65 in Leesburg and Claremont, same thing in Kissimmee, but then you go to our beaches and we're at 70 degrees in Daytona Beach, New Smyrna Beach, 71 in Melbourne. Again, just a few more clouds along I-95 and our beaches, but the rest of Central Florida waking up to bright, beautiful sunshine. Today, we will warm up into the mid-80s, inland coastal locations, upper 70s. We have one more day of mid-80s and dry air before rain makes return to our forecast. We'll talk much more about the timing of that rainfall in a few minutes, but first, let's get over to Megan with a check on the roads.
Kelly, good morning. I'm keeping my eye on a couple crashes this morning. This one here is in St. Cloud. Still working to clear. It's along Narcoossee Road at Jones Road, impacting those southbound travelers here. So expect some delays, but looking like we're seeing some improvement over the last 30 minutes or so. Also along I-75, I've been monitoring this crash all morning in Sumter County. This is in Bushnell, traveling northbound towards County Road 476. Traffic getting by in that left lane, but the right two are blocked off. And you can see some big delays moving through this area. That tow truck working to remove this semi-trailer involved in that crash. I'll be keeping my eye on this, and we will take a look at those I-4 cameras coming up in a few minutes. Sheldon.
All right, Megan, we do want to get back to some breaking news that we have been staying on top of all morning long. If you are just joining us at 7:33 this morning, morning, a major bridge that so many people travel on in Baltimore collapsed at about 1:30 this morning. This connects two neighborhoods in Baltimore that a lot of people travel through, and it connects to the Beltway in that region that connects a lot of people across the state in Washington, D.C. A container ship hit the pylons of that bridge, sending the pieces of that bridge tumbling into the water, and cars that were driving on the bridge at that hour also plunged into the water. Sonar detection found that there are multiple cars that are underwater right now. They were able to rescue two people. One of them refused treatment. The other one is at the hospital in critical condition, and the search continues right now to figure out where other people are stranded in that water and what happened.
We need to do damage assessment of the ship itself before we can board that ship, and we need to continue our subsurface search, which is including different types of sonar. We have side scan sonar. We have other sonar capabilities here. We have underwater UAVs that we're working with. And throughout the night, we've also been working with infrared technology, both from the air and on the water surface.
All right, no deaths have been confirmed so far. We are staying on top of this all morning long as the recovery and the rescue missions continue. We expect another update from Baltimore at about 9:30 this morning.
All right, we have just learned Governor DeSantis is coming to Orlando today. He and Attorney General Ashley Moody are scheduled to speak at the Orange County State Attorney's Office at 11:15. We will be there and stream it for you live on WESH.com. And of course, we'll bring you what they have to say on WESH 2 News at noon. Today, the Orange County Commission will decide on Disney's affordable housing project.
Yeah, WESH 2's Bob Hazen is in the studio this morning. And Bob, this project will have more than 1,000 units just west of Disney.
Yeah, this is the Horizon West area. It's a fast-growing part of Orange County, and a lot of people who live there say this plan is just too much. Commissioners will be having a public hearing on this as well, so people can show up and tell them what they think about the idea. That will happen during the county's meeting this afternoon. Sheldon, back to you.
All right, Bob. Also developing this morning, a new attendance policy is going into effect for Osceola County schools.
The district made changes to its attendance call times following the death of Madeline Soto late last month. WESH 2's Tony Atkins is live at Osceola County schools. Tony, the district wants parents to know if their kids are absent as soon as possible.
Well, father and son are in critical condition this morning, and police are still trying to find the person who stabbed them. Officers first responded to the call of someone needing medical help at that home on Distant Avenue Sunday in Tavares around 2 in the afternoon. When they got there, they found Frederick Crawford Jr. and his son, Frederick Crawford III, with stab injuries. If you know anything about this, please call Tavares Police.
The city of St. Cloud says they were targeted by a cyber attack. This affected phone lines and limited the forms of payment accepted at some services. Although several departments were impacted, the city's government remains open and is operating as best as possible until the issue is resolved. All trash and recycling collection routes are operating as scheduled, and police and fire rescue services are responding to calls.
Well, passengers from Carnival's Freedom cruise ship made it back to Port Canaveral after their ship caught fire at sea. Take a look at this. This is some video of their arrival on that ship yesterday morning. Their trip was from the Bahamas was cut short after the fire on Saturday. One passenger was on the deck when that fire started. He got some video of the funnel in flames, but the company has not said yet what caused this fire. Crew members had to stay in their cabins, and one passenger on board said that some people started lining up at their muster stations and ended up watching the fire from their room. Carnival Cruise Line says that passengers will get a full refund along with families who had their trips canceled. This is coming after just 2 years after the same cruise ship caught fire while docked in Grand Turk.
We are seeing newly released video of how a man snuck onto a flight with the wrong ticket. The man appeared to be taking photos of multiple passengers' boarding passes while they weren't looking, and then using those pictures of the boarding passes to board a Delta flight in Salt Lake City. According to court documents, 26-year-old Wycliffe Florizard had a standby ticket for a Southwest Airlines flight, but that flight was full and was rescheduled on a later flight. Authorities say that is when he decided he was going to get on a Delta one instead. Once he was on the plane, he allegedly hid out in a bathroom before flight attendants figured out he did not have a ticket. The plane returned to the gate and he was arrested, leaving us with a lot of questions.
Yes.
All right, the city of Sanford is looking to add a parking garage in downtown, but that means businesses would be on the hook for thousands of dollars a year. That is only if the city relied solely on a new parking assessment to cover the cost, which the mayor doesn't think they'll do. The mayor says the city is looking at having the garage be a public-private partnership, which could help with cost. The parking garage would be free except during events and would likely mean street parking would change to paid parking to motivate garage use.
7:42 right now. A mad dash across one of the busiest cities in Europe with trays full of food and drinks.
Yeah, it really puts the fast in fast service. The friendly competition in Paris, known as the running of the waiters. Here at 7:46, we are continuing to follow breaking news out of Baltimore this morning, where there is a state of emergency in place in Maryland after a ship crashed into the pillar of the Francis Scott Key Bridge, causing it to collapse. Now that the sun is up, you can see search and rescue efforts are ongoing at this hour. We do know 2 people have been pulled from the water after this collapse. One was unharmed. The other was transported to the hospital in serious condition. We have confirmed from sonar technology that there are also vehicles that are submerged in the Patapsco River here. And there were contractors on the bridge at the time of the collapse, which happened very early this morning at 1:30. This stretch, part of the Baltimore Beltway, causing some major headaches this morning. We are continuing to monitor any updates coming out of the Baltimore, Maryland area, and we're going to bring you all of the latest as we continue to learn more and get updated by officials there.
Every time we see this video, it's so horrifying to see the remnants of it, to know that this happened. And there's still so many unanswered questions like at this hour. But man.
The video of it collapsing itself is just incredibly jaw-dropping. Our hearts go out to them.
All right, it's closing in on 7:47. We're less than 2 months away from the Summer Olympic Games in Paris.
The Olympic flame is set to land on May 8th in Marseille after sailing off from Greece on the ship. Organizers ran a test relay to fine-tune security arrangement and the traffic convoy and rehearse communication between participants. Police, local officials, sponsors also joined. Unlit torches were passed on by stand-in torch bearers, who included a group of dancers who demonstrated a group relay.
It's like when you're a kid and everybody wants to touch the collection plate when it's going around. So everyone got a little touch there to pass it along.
Their thumbprints are on it officially. Okay, if you appreciate fast service when you go out to eat, Paris has just the competition for you.
Stephanie Gosk shows us the running of the waiters. It's a fun race for the best table service. It looks like so much fun, and I'm very impressed by their ability to balance.
And are we all craving a croissant now?
I was just really wondering if all the coffee was still warm and the croissant was warm.
Oh.
I'd still eat the croissant though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And drink the coffee.
Yes. It'd be iced coffee at that point.
Yeah, why not?
It's a day of iced coffee here.
Yeah, definitely for the afternoon hours. Today we're going to warm up into the low and middle 80s. So it's actually going to be a really nice day ahead. And I think that today is going to be the better day compared to tomorrow. Even though we are in the middle 80s, we will have some showers and thunderstorms to contend with. So that's just a little bit of a blip on the forecast that we're going to be tracking. Out the door right now, plenty of sunshine from our Tower Cam network out in Daytona Beach. A few more clouds directly on our coast for some parts of Central Florida, but still pretty comfortable. We're at 70 degrees in Daytona Beach, 68 in New Smyrna Beach and in Titusville. We're down to 71 degrees in Melbourne, 66 degrees in Orlando, and 62 degrees in Ocala and the Villages. Now temperatures this afternoon will be warm for inland spots, middle 80s inland, coastal locations into the upper 70s and low 80s. We have plenty of sunshine, temperatures warming up into the 80s. Now, before we get back into the 80s this weekend, we have to get through unseasonably cool conditions Friday. 76 degrees as a high Saturday morning, waking up in the 40s and 50s. Saturday afternoon, low 80s, then middle 80s for Easter Sunday. Megan, good morning.
Good morning, Kellyanne. Heading out the door right now, I'm still monitoring some big backups in Sumter County, impacting those northbound travelers on I-75 approaching County Road 476. This crash looks like it involved 2 semi-trailers, 2 FedEx trucks. You can see that those tow trucks are still working to remove them this morning, and there are big backups moving through this area. So expect those delays on the northbound side traveling through Sumter County. I-4 still very quiet for your Tuesday morning drive. No big traffic issues looking live from our tower camera up towards Maitland. This is at at Lee Road. Heaviest traffic here is traveling eastbound up at Maitland Boulevard. But again, nothing to worry about along the I-4 corridor. Looking at those delays right now, I-4 westbound from the Turnpike to the Beach Line, we're at 11 minutes. To US 192, we're sitting there at 20 minutes. Sonica.
Megan, thank you. More money from the government will improve air traffic control at Kissimmee Gateway Airport. Congressman Darren Soto announced a $1 million grant from the Federal Aviation Administration to be used to modernize the air traffic control tower. The new tower will also be taller, increasing the eye height from 43 feet to nearly double at 85 feet.
Costco's trying to keep its low-cost food court a place only members can enjoy. A Reddit picture posted from a local Costco here in Central Florida shows a sign stating people without an cannot buy anything in the food court.
WESH 2 News honored with 3 regional Merle Awards, including overall excellence. Local, live, late breaking. This is a WESH 2 News update.
Good morning. I'm Sheldon Dutez. It is 7:56. Orange County leaders will vote today on whether or not to spend more than $50,000 to cover the One Pulse Foundation's bills. That money will pay off the property taxes on a warehouse that was supposed to be the site of a museum to honor the 49 men and women who were killed in the nightclub shooting in 2016. The One Pulse Foundation dissolved and ran out of money. Megan.
Sheldon, heading out the door right now, there is a crash along I-75 northbound in Bushnell. This is traveling towards County Road 476. I've been monitoring this all morning. 2 semi-trucks involved. Looks like they're just working to clear the last one out of the way. So traffic only able to get by in that left lane. It is backed up for a couple of miles in this area. I-4 quiet for your Tuesday, but seeing that heavy traffic right now traveling westbound at Colonial Drive. Kellyanne, though, looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day today.
We have bright, beautiful sunshine from that tower cam shot, and we're going to have that pretty much all day long today. From our coast, though, it's going to be a little bit more cloudy, but still we'll have a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. Temperatures this afternoon warm up into the 70s for our coast. Inland spots in the low and middle 80s with the wind out of the southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. So plenty of sunshine today if you're heading out to any of our attractions. Looking like a good day to spend outside. Tomorrow morning we'll wake up to a mix of sun and clouds and temperatures in the 60s. Then tomorrow afternoon we're in the 80s area wide, but we will be tracking a few showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. Our rain increases Thursday morning as our next cold front swings in.
All right, coming up in the next hour here on CW18, we are staying on top of that big breaking news story from overnight. A bridge collapsed in Baltimore, sending several cars plunging into the water. That story and so much more is ahead at 8 o'clock.
Every night at 10, it's time to get caught up.
And it's our job to tell the stories that are important to you.
Following breaking news around the clock.
So you have the information you need to know.
Giving you the most accurate forecast.
To prepare you for tomorrow.
And sharing stories of our community.
To connect you to those around us.
That's what you can expect from us.
Every night.
Join Stu, Michelle, Tony, and Darren for WESH 2 News at 10 on CW18.